Look at that sky. The more just. Anyways, you already know who it is. You know we're ready. You know what it did, what it do. It's your boy. It's his eye, Wesley. Anyways, I did a kind of fired up review of the Marvels just now, and that joint was like 16 minutes. The library closes at 5, so if I can record the next 3 videos and get back to the library to upload them, which has super fast Wi-Fi, I'll be good. But if not, I'll just upload the Marvels video later. This has no bearing. Like, if you're watching this, it really doesn't affect you at all because it's probably uploaded. I mean, it's already uploaded if you're watching this. Not to me, who in real time right now is just walking and talking about something that will happen in the future. Anyways, I went to my the old school spot, the spot, and it was had a lot of people. So I'm going now to my my newfound spot. But anyways, I'm here to do a review. I did the Marvels. I got Transformers, Blue Beetle, and The Flash. But since I'm on this nice walkway and I'm in the park and I just got here and the sound quality is now so good and I could try and avoid all these leaves here so there's no crunch in the video because I'm not editing this stuff. I obviously like, subscribe, and all that jazz because I'm trying to get my subscriptions up. But also, I'm not going to sell out and make content I'm not satisfied with. I was just watching My Scumbag Dag, whoever is easily one of my favorite creators ever. And he's just so, like, his content is mockery of other people's content, but it's also, again, philosophical. And I think it's morally right. Just like, just the way he thinks, and like, but also he wouldn't have his content if he didn't make fun of other people's content. So the content he's making fun of, he actually needs. But I just like, I get what he's doing, and I really like his work, and I think it's very funny, and it's very cheeky, very smart. But anyways, let's talk about the disaster. The disaster. Yes, I said disaster of a movie called The Flash by DC. And let me open up. As a DC fan, what a mockery you've made of Flash, of the Flashpoint Paradox, which is one of the greatest storylines in all of, to my knowledge, I don't know that. Like, I'm a casual comic book fan, but I don't read comics. I just watch the movies, animated movies, DC animated movies, and stuff like that. So I don't know like every little thing, but I know it. Like I watch the animated movies. But anyways, I watched the Flashpoint Paradox, which you should definitely go watch, which is a super awesome movie. But what a mockery! What a disgrace! Not a disgrace. I'm exaggerating, but it is a mockery of the Flashpoint Paradox, which is this phenomenal movie. First of all, the runtime of Flashpoint Paradox is 1 hour and 21 minutes. The runtime of The Flash, I wrote it down here, is 2 hours and 24 minutes. I'm also avoiding leaves while I'm doing this, so there's no crunch, because I'm not editing this video. But anyways, this movie is a straight-up mockery of the Flashpoint Paradox, which is phenomenal, which is great, which is so good in every aspect, and it shows you this alternate reality, this different world, these different options, and it's so kick butt, and you get stinking Thomas Wayne as stinking Batman, and he's using guns, just everything goes right. You get a really good Flash, and you get a Flash who's like true to his character. That's the big thing. You don't see Flash true to his character in this DC movie with Ezra Miller. And just hold up, let me just. I got so many things to say. Oh my, this joint. I hope this joint's an hour, bro. This is ridiculous. Look. I actually on my phone. I actually wrote a bunch of content. I wrote I'm just gonna guess. There's 25 or 30 things on here while I was watching the movie, which I normally don't do, but I did that yesterday because I was watching. Oh my, what a disaster, bro! Oh my, bruh. dudettes and dudes. This thing is a joke. We already got 5 minutes. Let's get into this, Joan. First of all, Ezra Miller, even though we're already into it, Ezra Miller, like the personal issues and the things going on and him getting arrested and the domestic abuse or whatever, or allegations, or actually out, whatever, it's just like he should have. So DC didn't have enough balls. The big execs, you heard it here, folks. The big execs in DC didn't have the balls to cut the cord on Ezra Miller, and they thought that everyone was going to forego this misconduct and his just, all the shitty, or sorry, I don't want to curse in this thing. All the crappy things we've seen about just, what's been going on in his personal life, and his poor behavior. But I don't know the guy personally, so I can't say. I can only see what I see, and that's why you have a PR people to curb the perception of you in your favor. But like by everything we're seeing, this guy's a crappy dude, So I'm gonna take that off of that, and then they think we're just gonna ignore it, So it's a lot of bad things are coming out about him. Not like terrible, like he's not a murderer, but he's doing some bad things, And it's like, why we're going to support it? And what appeared to be some sort of domestic or some sort of abuse situation or something like that, or like drugs, whatever it was. I'm not sure specifically. I think it was like some sort of abuse. But let me see if we can turn around. No. Anyways, hold up. There's cars. Anyways, so it's like there's some sort of abuse or whatever like that. And it's like, oh, we're gonna just be like, oh, nah, bro, you're good. No, you're not good, bro. What in the world is this? Seriously, no, you're not good. Anyways, so the whole Ezra Miller thing is a large thing. So the movie flopped, okay? Rightfully so, it flopped. And it deserved to be flopped, and I'm glad it flopped because they allowed someone of poor character to, to continue to get a showcase and to be a main actor in this movie, which he shouldn't have got. They should have got a different Flash. Another thing I want to say is, I'm getting a little tired here. Ezra Miller is not a good Flash. He's playing the same comical character we've seen 1,000 times, which there's nothing wrong with that, because I'm so tired. I've been walking a lot, but anyways, and there's nothing wrong with I come from a pro wrestling background where everyone's done the move that you want to do, but you have to add your own spin to it. Call it something different, do it a little differently, and maybe you do it exactly how people have done 1,000 times. But what you can do, is after you do the move, you can dance a little. You can, look at the crowd. You can do something you add something. So you have this whimsical, nerdy, quick, fast talking character. That's the geeky, nerdy guy. Okay. All right. We've seen it before. Time and time again. We're going to see it a million more times, So how is Ezra Miller different? He's not. Another car. Ugh. I'm so tired. They're giving me this stale cookie cutter product of a person who's not a good person. So it's like, why? It's a wedding of some sort. Anyways, so they're giving me this stale cookie cutter product that I've seen, and he's not exceptional. He's not particularly brilliant in any regard. He's not even mediocre. It's bland. It's a bland performance. And people pooped on Morbius, and there's a wedding going down today. Let me walk around fast. But anyways, people did a lot of pooping on Morbius, and they're like, all right, Morbius, you're not good. Or no, Jared Leto. They're like, Jared Leto and Morbius. Let me just stop this right now. Because there's a wedding, and I'm not trying to I have a loud voice, that's why I like the park. I forgot what I was saying. There was a lady who said hi, so I said hi back. Anyway, she was nice. Anyway, popular wedding behind me. Okay, the Flash is just bad. He's like, Ezra Miller's Flash is not a good Flash. It has nothing to offer, you know? I'm not getting anything from it. It's like another thing too, like, finance people be like, oh, you can get 3 points cash back on your credit card. You know? People say all these things about, like, finance information. Or just like, oh, you're not supposed to buy a Rolls Royce. You're supposed to deduct the weight of it and do all this mumbo jumbo, which I get, you know? Or like, I think it's like Adele. Oh, I'm tired. Instead of purchasing her house, Adele put it on a mortgage and took out a loan. And she did some like finance stuff. So she's actually making money by investing the money, part of the money that she got from the loan into the stock market, which over time will over time the money she put in the stock market will accumulate, will get enough money so that it's the same price as the house, you know? So she actually gonna be making money by using like part of the loan money that she got, you know, but she could buy the whole house, right? But she can buy the entire house outright. So she did like she obviously, all famous people have, or most famous people have financial people. So she did like a financial move or whatever to save money and stuff. Like, oh, we got photographers probably for that wedding. A white backdrop. See, now I gotta walk even further away from all these people so I can express my opinion. They got a light and everything. They're serious. Oh man. I'm so tired. Look at that sky. Me. Gorgeous. Anyways, this movie made me so frustrated by just, you know, how bad it was. You have to try to be as bad as this movie was, and just like everything about this movie was bad. It wasn't like, oh, one thing is good. Like, you know, everything about this movie was bad. The girl who played Supergirl, great. Oh man, I want to see more of her. Like, I feel like they didn't do her. They should have gave her more screen time, because she was so like so much of an interesting character. I want to see more. You know, what else they got? Like, I thought that was so cool. And in everything with Michael Keaton was boss, you know. So her Supergirl and Michael Keaton, Batman, super awesome. Obviously Ben Affleck, you can't go wrong. He's stinking Batman. I like Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck's one of my favorite actors ever. He's a good director too, because he directed The Town and things like that. So I just have a lot of appreciation and respect. All these people for the wedding are going to be driving by, and all that car noise is going to be in the background. Hey, that mom was alright. I'm just saying. Too old and not my style, but I don't know. She was nice enough. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and record this joint. And they moved one of the benches that I used to sit on. I might record over here in a more secluded position. Alright. As the cops come in, they're like, blah, 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 the stinking cops of the park, who are the let me move these leaves. The stinking, if the cops of the park come, let me not point at this person. Let me see how the quality is. This is not enough quality, it's too dark. If the cops of the stinking come, or the whatever pavilion, Pavilion people come, then I don't really care about the pavilion people. They're like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, hey, man, I'm just doing me. You know what I'm saying? Just doing me. Lancaster. Okay. The lighting here is good. Background's not as cool, but... Alright, let's get it. Anyways. Previously. And like the TV... So they had a TV show Flash. And they didn't use him. But he's a good Flash. Okay, so I get it. You want to... For whatever reason, the executives want to do that. Alright. But the TV Flash is way better than the Flash. There's all these previous versions of the Flash are so much better. You know, the Flash from Smallville. Just come on. Like it's just they dropped the ball on that. Okay, I'm just gonna run through my notes here. He's a bad Flash. He's not good at being dorky. It's the same thing you run into with this whole Spider-Man thing. It's like Tobey Maguire is a really good like Peter Parker, and you got Tom Holland is a really good is it Tom Holland? No, Tom Holland is a really good mixture of both. And you have Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man. Who's the guy in that? What's his name? Andrew Garfield is the best Spider-Man. Cause he's like funny and he like, you know, he does Spider-Man-y stuff, you know. And there's also a lot more like realism. Anyways, so it's like this. He's not good at being either. Like Ezra Miller's not good at being a good Flash. He's not good at being a good Flash because it's not even true to the character. If you've seen any iteration of Flash previously, you know, you're gonna be like, oh, Flash is like, you know, this intellectual character. But now they try to adapt him to a movie. And now sometimes he's this fast talking, you know, character, which is like the Flash in the TV show had confidence. This Flash does have confidence. You're the fastest man in the world, bro, and you're like you act like a simp. Get out of town with that. That's so much baloney, so much garbage. Get whatever. We're just gonna. He's not a believable. I don't believe he's Flash. Well, I don't believe this man is the fastest man on earth. Are you kidding me? No. There's not enough star power for sure. Just Ezra Miller, no disrespect, but I don't think he have enough star power to play the Flash. Me personally, I just don't see it. I don't think he displayed it. And even if he does, I didn't see enough, like, on screen, you know, for me to be like, oh, yeah, you get this, you know, tip of the cap. Boy, it's slow. How you the Flash and you slow? All right, man. So much. All right, and then you have James Gunn. Well, again, like, I don't like James Gunn's run as the director. I don't think he was a good choice. He's very specific, and like he has specific humor that's more crude than it is actually funny, and it's a lot of based on physical acting. Like there's so much part in this movie that you could see like James Gunn's hand, just like when I did Joyride. With the like it's like 4 Asian characters and you're getting all of these Joe Rogan jokes, you know? It's just like it's a specific style of humor. It's like, oh, the one that looks like a giant anus. This is like stupid, silly, like kid, you know, and it's poor timing jokes for like dude jokes, you know, like guy jokes. Like just, you know, locker room, this stupid, silly jokes that don't have any business being in a Marvel movie, you know? And I said this about the Marvels. Like, DC has great villains because he has great heroes, you know? They feed off each other. Marvel is never going to have a truly great character because you're never going to have the heroes are soft. Like, they're not soft. They're just not overpowered characters. They're regular characters who don't, you know... They're not overpowered. One DC character of the main 7 wipes out all. Obviously not Hawk Girl, but one DC character like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, whatever, Martian Manhunter. They wipe out all of Marvel. You know, they clean out the Avengers. Easy. And that's the thing. It's like, and it's similar to the Star Trek, where Star Trek is more philosophical. And Star Wars, completely different, is action, you know?
It's action and adventure, and it's a race. It's an adventure. It's a sort of mystery, but it's really just action. Whereas Star Trek is philosophical, and there's a lot more like the technology and there's so much. The technology is so advanced. The question of eating, is not there. Like, you don't need to worry about food I'm pretty sure in the Star Trek world. So it's not something that's added, that it's not just like you take away all these basic things that cause these things. Like, there's not going to be crime and poverty if everyone's fine, There's still going to be crime because people are always going to do crime. But it's like, why do you need to steal if you have food, Like, I'm just, what I'm saying? Like, that's the fun thing about Star Trek. It's very philosophical, and it's a thinking. You have to think and enjoy the discovery of learning, and just enjoying different perspectives, seeing different views. Just like it's a lot thought based, and it's more of an intellectual journey rather than physical or anything action. There's not fist fights and on these huge action set pieces. It's just think. Wow, see this cool, beautiful thing, what if, and that's why that's why I enjoy Star Trek. I'm not a super diehard fan, but that's why I enjoy Star Trek. It's just interesting, It's very, it's interesting. And that's what, again, one of the reasons why I like DC. It's very interesting, and it showcases a lot without the action and things like that. Obviously, there's really cool action in DC, but overall, there's just a lot of Superman thinking, Batman being the best detective, and then you get, Wonder Woman who comes from this different island, and she just wants world peace, and she loves everybody. There's so much good different things, and even in Flashpoint, the whole point of it is that Barry goes back in time, spoiler alert, to save his mother, because he cares, because he's thinking about it, because, what I'm saying? It's not like just this bland cut of all these different things, So let me just pan around so it's not as boring just hearing me talk. But obviously, if you like me, if you like my brand, if you like my content, you don't mind just hearing me talk about things, and I can be kind of a podcast, if anything, which would be a good idea. But anyways, I digress. James Gunn, not good. He's very specific style of comedy, which works in Guardian, it worked in Thingy, but also you had the characters to do it. You had Star-Lord. I forgot his real name. But anyways, the guy who plays Star-Lord, he's really, really good, and he can carry that style of humor, just like Joe Rogan can carry his own style of humor, But don't expect everyone to be able to manage that, and don't put a serious funny character into just making all this silly dialogue, which is, and whoever wrote the scripts, I don't really blame them. I just feel like they had to do it. James Gunn put all these stupid things in there, and they let the showrunners, whoever made the movie, run with these silly things, and no one's getting credit for this movie. I'm not mentioning everyone's name. I'm putting out their name, but I'm really calling shots. But I'm not gonna be here and wasting my time on just something. I just not said, like, I mentioned the whoever did Supergirl, because I think she did a good job. Michael Keaton, obviously, he did a good job, and they were really good parts and they were so fun. And if I would rewatch this movie, it's because of them. But there are really a lot of good parts in this movie. No, that's a lie. There's not a lot of good parts in the movie. But the girl who plays Supergirl, super boss, every second on screen was a good time, and Michael Keaton was just a blast. And I love the catchphrases. There's a lot of cool parts, like certain cameos in this movie were just really, really, really fun, and just I'm nerding out as a fan. But anyways, let me continue. The script was messy, trying to be, again, I think too long. The movie was too long for what it was. It was trying to explain to me the Flashpoint, and then it rushed to the ending. It's like the first and second acts were all these good, cool parts, or like all this like establishing, and then it ended so quickly. Like, the third act was super fast, and the first two acts was establishing. And like, again, the way they took the movie, the direction they took the movie, I didn't agree with. I just like, they should have just did a remake of Flashpoint. If you're not going to do a remake, actually do something that's actually good. They're trying to basically, we spend all the time with Ezra Miller's we're spending time with a different Flash talking about, you know, it's supposed to be like this kind of conversation with himself about his character, but he's kind of still the same character as he is. He's just older, so it's not, you know, you're not getting that discovery of like a Scrooge, you know, where he's visiting these different, the past, the present, the future. You're not getting that, you know, that revelation of Scrooge, you know. It's just this guy annoyed with himself. You know, it's just like, and he's trying to be an adult. Like, it's just, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. And I'm just gonna move on. Wow. DC. Let me see. One DC. Yeah, I wrote the Flash is not Spider. Yeah, the Flash is not Spider-Man. Spider-Man can be your comedic relief, and Spider-Man works because that's the Spider. That's true to Spider-Man character. Again, this was not. You know, they had him as a comic relief. You know, and also the serious part, which didn't work. DC has grit, okay? Like, this is like, DC is gritty. It is hard, you know? And again, these characters are overpowered and super powerful, you know? And again, like, one of the things that, as a DC fan, it's more philosophical. It's more thinking, you know, because when it comes to actual action, the fight's not going to be as grand as you want it, because these are juggernauts, you know? So, like, Marvel can have these fight scenes that go on for days because these characters are they're not heavy hitters, which is nothing wrong with that. And they can also be more silly because they're not heavy hitters, you know? Versus DC, they're heavy hitters. They're no game. You can't mess around and play around when you got single Superman, who has super speed. He's super smart. He's super strong. You know, it's like, this is not a game. Like, these are heavy hitters, you know, singing Batman, the world's greatest detective, this savant in practically everything, you know, and he's so good at like essentially seeing the future that he can prepare everything, and he's thinking belt, his utility belt, man. And you guys thinking Martian Manhunter, who can phase through things, who's also very intellectual. Like, we're talking about like grade A super heavyweights, man. And you can't mess around. It's not realistic if they're out here being comic relief, you know. They're serious characters. So you can only, if you're gonna be funny, you need to do it in a way that actually works and that's authentic and actually goes with the flow and path of the movie, of the character, of the story, okay? And the movie's hard to watch. There's a lot of good parts in it. It's fun. But just a lot of it is just hard to watch because I was like, the first opening scene is so stupid. No offense to anybody, like, it's just so stupid, it's so ridiculous, like, it's not funny, it's just silly, it's super silly, it's like, what's going on? So now you're adding limitations to Flash. I understand that. They do an Agent S.H.I.E.L.D. to characters so that you can actually have the show, but just, so in the comic books, there's like a scene in the Flash where like he opens a book and basically rebuilds an entire building in like a matter of seconds. And then now I'm watching The Flash in the movie, and I understand you have to have, like, you can't write yourself into a corner, you know? But, like, this opening scene is very James Gunn, where you're just, he's the fastest man alive. He's super fast, but he can't go in the building and just pull out all these people. So these babies so he's spending all this time talking, wasting time, and then just in the air are all these babies in the air, and he can't just run, bounce off things, grab the babies, and then over, like, later they explain it and things like that. but just it's so drawn out, and what they're showing to me is just a very slow character who has to do all this extra stuff to compensate for the fact that the Flash, the fastest man on Earth, is not as fast, and it's just and the comedy was not funny. They're putting babies in microwaves. It's just, it's not landing. It's a comedian who's trying to be funny, but he's not funny. Again, a lot of, you can see James Gunn's hand on this, and it not being good. And I'm just frustrating as a fan of DC, just watching this because of just a poor execution of the poor quality. Even though you have the stinking Supergirl, who's this awesome character, and I kind of just want to watch the movie just because of her. You get to see Michael Keaton, who's just boss. All the good cameos of his Batman mobile, just, oh man, everything's so great, And even the Flash's costume is good. So you just get a lot of aspects of it, but just, it's just a lot of parts in this movie was confusing and just unnecessary, or just drawn out. The third act super fast, everything really slow. And just what does the ending mean? How are you gonna, I get it, adding music to make it seem like it's funny, but, the ending, you see the character, you see this, I just, I get the ending, but the ending, they didn't add, music to make it, funny. They just made, they made it seriously, seem like there's, a reboot coming or something like that, Which, I'm here. I'm just, I don't know. I don't know what to make of The Flash. The ending, I don't know what to make of this movie. It wasn't, I'm just very upset, as a fan of DC, at the piss poor quality, of this movie overall for a DC movie. DC movie, are just, they haven't been able to find their footing, and I understand that. But you go from stinking masterpiece Christopher Nolan Batman, you go from super awesome, interesting visual Zack Snyder, and then even the Matt, whoever the guy did with the Robert Pattinson Batman, like Batman Beyond type character with Robert Pattinson, great, really, really, really good. And they're all gritty, they're all dark, they're all true to, they make the characters as powerful as they should be, and then they work from there. And then you have this, who tries to make these overpowered DC characters basically these crappy Marvel characters, so they can actually have a story instead of working what the character is, straying away from the character and hiring a person of poor character in Ezra Miller, and you get a flop. I don't know. Just obviously, this is also kind of a vent for me, but also just DC, get your act together. Obviously, you'll hit a stride, and they've already had a lot of success. But just, it's just this movie didn't need to be a flop. It could have been good if you just put in a little effort. And Ezra Miller was a wrong choice. And I just expressed that in my, I had to vent out my thoughts on it. But anyways, I look fine as stuff in this joint. But anyways, I wouldn't recommend The Flash, at all. This is a bad movie. Bad movie that you shouldn't rewatch. Yeah. But I would just watch the clips of Supergirl and Michael Keaton. Or honestly, I'll just skip to I'll just skim through this movie if I were to watch it, but you're not missing anything. And hopefully Supergirl gets her own showcase. I think she's going to get her own movie, or Michael Keaton. Already has a Batman who you can just watch the Michael Keaton Batman. Okay, you're not missing anything here. Just, don't watch this. Well, obviously I love movies, so I always watch movies and get to see it. And I did see good parts of this movie, but I would just say this movie is a bad movie. There's a lot of problems with it. And really just morally, man, Ezra Miller doing all this whack stuff, and you're giving him a shot? Come on, DC. That's a big no-no. Anyways, have a good day. Be happy, be positive, live the best life that you can. and do something fun. Break away from anything that's like, if you live in a bubble and you kind of do the same things every day, again, all I say is like a lot. Like, don't be afraid to branch out, to do something differently, to challenge yourself, and discover brave new worlds. You see what I did there?